Welcome to episode 2 of your CMS technology. Maybe this is a rant. Essentially, where we're at today is we believe that the CMS is your AI strategy. When I talk about websites, when I try to recruit anybody, when we try to win customers, what we say is you're not picking a service, you should be picking a technology. DevHub's been innovated on for 18 plus years, and we've been ready for this moment, I would say since day one, but let's just pretend since 2017. The reason why you hadn't heard of us is because we've been behind the scenes. Now we're front and center with some of the leading brands. All right, let's get into it. Your CMS is your AI strategy. The technology you choose is going to matter for today, tomorrow, and whatever comes next. Who the hell are we? DevHub, been around for 18 plus years, 19 plus years. Websites from the classic drag and drop builder days of, right after GeoCities to the Weebly's, to the Squarespace, to the Wixes, then went to this enterprise-ish platform, multi-location, location-focused CMS, not necessarily multi-site, but again, it's still multi-site, but you get it. It's built with all the structured data of locations, and that is a different capability than just having a multi-site platform. That's DevHub. That's a little bit of our history. All right, let's get into it. Today, when someone buys a website, they're buying it as a service, typically through an agency. The last thing they're thinking about is going to WordPress, let's just say, or Webflow directly and building it with knowledgeable people from those companies, right? It's, hey, here's our technology, go use it. And when we make an update, just make sure you pay attention to go update it again later. DevHub is more or less I would say, almost more of the Apple versus the PC version, right? It's all contained. You can work in it, we can work in it, your agency can work in it, but we are innovating the product layer, the technology layer consistently, not making it so that you have to go back and make sure that it's been updated. Every brand right now is asking essentially the same question, right? Which is, how do we use AI? And again, I don't know if this is in the way here. Let me see if I can move oh my God, I moved myself. That is so awesome. The CMS is one of the most important technologies a brand can think about today. Anyone who's working online, we believe the CMS ultimately will be I don't want to say Bible, but essentially the foundation for what these models are sourcing from for the interfaces that we all use today. Today, right, they're looking for structure, consistency across the board, completeness, right? There's no holes when a customer asks something or a consumer asks something that it's able to find it, right? It's not like, hey, does this service have pricing and it's not there, or it's not there in that particular location. That's incomplete. It needs to be totally complete. And then lastly, right now, it needs to be actionable, right? Again, if you play with any of the AI agents today, have your Claude, have your ChatGPT go out into the world and be like, hey, find me this service. Okay, go ahead and book it. If that booking thing is another pop-up and another pop-up, you see it fail every single time, and then you have to go do it, and it just creates that extra layer. So it needs to be actionable at the website level, natively integrated. All right, let's go. So again, when we think about the CMS, we think about it very much as not a service, but as a technology. It is the product. AI for content, AI for personalization, AI for customer service, AI for local marketing, AI for search, because search is changing itself faster than anything we've seen in the last 19 years. And everyone's focused on the AI tools, the interfaces, the prompts. Nobody's talking about the layer underneath it all, your CMS. If your content layer is a mess, unstructured, inconsistent, siloed, your AI strategy is a mess, garbage in, garbage out at that machine speed. As AI is evolving and it's hitting your website for more information, it's not there, it's moving on. And again, if you watch it work, you see that happening in real time. And so if your content layer is clean, aka the technology within the CMS technology keeps your content clean, structured, and it's governed from corporate to local, it's totally complete, AI will become your force multiplier. Every model you deploy, every agent that runs against your website, every personalization engine that you're able to use. Again, localization to find out when someone's looking for your site, it all gets smarter and faster, right? Being able to pull all the information from your website, feed it into your own internal tools too, of what are the current promos we're running, all of that has to exist or can exist within the CMS, can exist within DevHub. So again, as we talked about before, how does AI actually use your content? Okay, let's start with the basics, because I think there is a lot of confusion about how AI models are actually working with your content. So today that brings us to structure, right? How does a website on DevHub totally outperform someone who's building an agency who's building a website, right? So again, ultimately it comes down to construction. I'm thinking about building this remodel. Structured, consistent, and semantically meaningful content. It's asking, what does this brand do? Where do they operate? What are the specific offerings at this location? What are the hours, the services, the differentiators between others in the market? And is this information consistent across the brand, or does every location say something different? When you're on a CMS DevHub, when you're on DevHub, period. Again, if we can make DevHub synonymous with CMS or synonymous with websites, then we know we've built something huge, and these videos will be epic. But for now, this is what we are doing natively within the DevHub platform. XML sitemap, structured data, schema. I'm not going to say JSON because I don't exactly, again, I've been very fortunate to be blessed with a co-founder. Go look him up, Daniel Rust, CTO. I get to do this and talk and be out here. He's the one innovating on the platform, making sure that we're staying consistent, him and his team, every single day. The newest standard that's out there right now is LLMs.txt. So again, that these discovery engines, interfaces that we're all using, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexities, Groks of the world, can actually discover the sites faster and make it more relevant. You still need the content in there. Again, the canonical, controls for the search engine, and of course, just accessibility in general. And you want to make sure that the content is not the problem. We've seen so many agencies, so many brands who have bought content packages. Their franchisees have bought content. They've licensed content from some people out there who license content. And again, it's just crazy to me that when we do these third-party audits of their entire networks, 10, 40, 50, 100,000 pages, and you see less than 50 get traffic, what were you paying for 3, 4, 5, 6 years of just content for the sake of content? It's like those days are gone. Those pages are not relevant. I would just fold them into a better version of what the site actually can be on DevHub. And so, again, that's new search reality, because this is where the urgency is actually real. We're literally in the middle of the biggest shift in search behavior since Google launched. AI powered search. The consumer, what's the difference between this and this? I need to give me the top 3 home services companies, right? And again, they're referencing everything from what they find on Google to what they find on Yelp, but ultimately the action being completed from what's on the website. And so the old game was rank a page, get a click, get a visit, 10 blue links. Now we're seeing that attribution is a lot harder to track, 1. 2, it's happening from the website, the content being pulled from the website into these interfaces. And the new game is to be that source on AI models that trust and surfaces, not just a link, an answer, the whole recommendation. So again, like we've seen it now a lot in home services and some wellness too, where even if you have starting at pricing, right? Well, typically this, for us to pressure wash, it starts at $99 for 1,000 square feet. Having something to give the consumer back the answer, because otherwise what happens is the AI agent, the interface, whatever you want to call it at this point, basically will just skip right over your website. Just right over it. It's like, oh, they don't have pricing, I'm going to go to the next one. And that is it. That's not before where it was like trying to game the system of being ranked higher, right? It's This information doesn't exist. I'm going on. And so while AI can help you produce unique and localized content and scale, every location doesn't necessarily have to say the same thing. One service in the Northeast United States is different than the Southwest. That has to be unique to those areas. And every microsite, location page, whatever you want to call it, doesn't have to say exactly what the corporate is saying. It can be said so it's more localized to that area. And content that actually has a chance, that content will actually have a chance of ranking when you're talking about the specific pest control issue that's happening. Like right now in Arizona, there's a lot of mosquitoes, or there's starting to be a lot of mosquitoes, right? And I know in Colorado, there's, I think, beetles. I forgot what they are. But again, that was maybe years ago. But it's still the same pest control company can deal with both nuisances, right? And again, still within the structure of the site. So again, while we've seen brands use AI to generate content across a lot of locations and ship it with zero review, no brand guidelines, content for the sake of content because it seems smart, ultimately that doesn't get found. It doesn't get ranked because right now there's still the element of ranking. And it's just a huge waste of money. The structure, as what you see right now on the screen, natively built into DevHub, is what is governing this current AI evolution that we are in. Again, because DevHub is a technology, because we believe the CMS is the most important thing, as it evolves, we get to innovate at the product layer. So you don't have to think about any of this. Right? If you're getting content from your agency and it sucks, you have a partner to be like, yo, that content's doing nothing for you. So again, as you know, like I said, search is changing. Let's see what else. All right, let's go. Let me move me over again if I can. Boom. Right. And so again, it's not just about, I need to launch this website, but it's again, what content, data, content, same for the sake of this series. Right? It's again, what's the content that a new location is launching with? What is the content that you want to produce consistently for this location? And so while all of this is available now, it still requires that content foundation, the CMS layer that was designed for structure, not just publishing. And so this is why when you make the CMS decision that you make today, it is actually your AI strategy for the next decade. At DevHub, we've been thinking about this for an extremely long time, before AI strategy was even a phrase anyone was using. I would say all the way back since 2017, when we used to say, we don't want to build a company that was scared of Google. We want to build a platform, a technology that was never afraid of what's coming next, right? There was always ways to game SEO. There was always ways to use that plugin. There was always ways to, there was another one. There was using those plugins, game SEO. Anyway, the point is we just never took that approach. We wanted to build a solid infrastructure that would last. And that's what you're seeing, hopefully, in this video, is that whole concept. And again, that structured content model we built for SEO natively, right? Natively built into the platform is the same model that AI personalization uses as well, in terms of being able to pull that information that a consumer might be searching using their AI interface. We didn't build the CMS and then add AI features, right? We just did it right. The content should be clean. It should be structured properly. And we built a foundation that AI features are worth where we think AI is going, to have that all structured right. Like right today, I still say a website is still some version of like, can you design this? I think by the end of this series, you'll know that as much as design is cool, right now it's more about the content. We've said that 100 times, but also like the voice of that content and how is it structured so that it's actually found. When you're typing into the interface today, or you're asking the interface in your ear or on your voice phone, and you're saying, hey, I need to know blank, blank, and blank, they're not serving you an image, they're serving you words. And so again, for it to be that data layer, within your CMS, that is what it is. And again, as the series had started, is that we believe that this is an arms race that every brand is running right now, but it'll be won at the CMS layer, right? If your CMS is truly a technology and not a service you bought, how chatbots interface with your own customers, prospects, built off of that CMS. We plug into all of it, DevHub, plug into all of it. That will be your AI strategy. Think about it. Really, really think about it. That's what hopefully I'm passionate about. Because your CMS is either your competitive advantage in this race, right? Or it's the thing holding you back from competing at all, right? I mean, all of a sudden you could have had the best rankings in the world, and then, no name something is just doing better because they're more structured. They're providing the customer more of what they're looking for, from pricing to the right reviews, all natively integrated. Hey, has this person ever, again, let's say someone gives you the question, hey, I'm having this issue at the house, whatever the issue is at the house, there's water coming from the light socket, right? And it's dripping currently. So it's an active issue. It needs to be solved. Hey, ChatGPT, hey, Claude, hey, whoever, I need a home service person immediately to come out. One, if it doesn't say on your website that you 24/7 or something like that, or here's the phone number to call right now because you have an active leak. Then let's say the customer's like, cool, found 3, calls 1, right? Or has the agent call 1. Agent calls 1, says, hey, my human, whatever, is like, hey, they have this current ongoing issue. And then they ask the follow-up question, have you ever worked in this neighborhood? No. Guess what? They can automatically call the next person to find out, okay, they can do this right now, and they've worked in this neighborhood. I trust them the most. That's who I want to come out. So again, those layers of content, right? Not just answering the first question, are they good at this thing? Do they do this thing? Are they quick to do the thing? But also, have they worked in this neighborhood before? Has any of my neighbors used it before? Like those questions, right? How long does this service typically last? Like those next layers of questions are what it is. And so it's not this AI race that we're in right now, right? Every technology in the world is pointed at AI, right? And so it is not going to be the brand that has the best prompts, but it'll be by the brand that has the cleanest foundation, right? So if you're just trying to game the system, you're not going to game it forever. It needs to be built with the right foundation, the right CMS to be able to pull from. And again, obviously, DevHub is an open CMS. We can operate it. You can operate it. Your agency can operate it. We can all operate it together, and you can build your own little AI agents to run it too, should you have that level of proudness in your org. So choose the CMS for where you are going, the technology for where you're going, not where you currently are. And again, it's hard. It's hard. Again, that's what I'm out here for right now, talking about this. It's very much, I always say, like, we're trying to constantly rewrite the rules of how people have bought websites before, and to not think about it as a design service, but more as a structural technology infrastructure that they can actually build from. And so, again, this is episode 2. The next episode, we're going to go a little bit broader because I want to challenge something most people assume about what a CMS even is. Websites equal CMS, but it's not just about creating the websites. It's about what happens after the content exists and why that's the piece nobody has really, really figured out. They still will hack together everything with plugins and whatnot. But again, you saw one of the 4 bullet points before, which was that the sites are actionable. And what does actionable actually mean? And again, it's besides just, again, by the way, a simple form fill could work. But again, for those who have booking engines, for those who have menus of prices, for those where the consumer can actually take an action, that to be baked into the website. So, see you on the next one. Your website is your AI strategy. Your CMS is your website strategy.